realms.
Yes, because then there is the option far later on as an expansion to explore realms. You've already been in one, you've got two, who's to say there aren't more?
Well, that's the thing. There's thousands more.
Exactly.
And each one's going to be different, so like, one could be like a Pokemon style game.
It could be.
I'm not talking about tile, you know, where you just see them like that. I'm talking about your actual, like, go around the world in 3D.
I can't.
Cameras back on.
What was I going to say? What was the last
Something
thing?
about not moving, you go nothing.
Yes. Now, if you think about it, that's been built, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, as it stands, it is a sort of mistiness.
That's just good.
Now, what if that realm, the actual world, was replicated in Purgatory, but with mist?
But
So
it
it's
did
all
change
misty.
the weather system foggy.
It saves us money. Think about it. You've already done the work. So you make the square. Oh no, that's where I was going. Now I remember. So you have your square that the players can go with. You walk up to the north, end up at the south. It loops. Saves you having to do any more exploration.
So effectively, it's a mini circular world. Effectively.
So basically, what we wanted to do in the first place of the main game.
Yeah.
So because it's Purgatory, there's nowhere else to go. That is all where you're only going to be.
Yeah.
So if you walk to the top of one map, it's a bit like the Final Fantasy kind of style world. If you're going across the world map, if you go across the top, it brings you straight back down to the bottom.
World of Warcraft did the same.
No, they.
There was a lot of other games that did the same. Final Fantasy 7 did it.
Yeah, all the Final Fantasy
All the Final
series.
Fantasies were
But
the
the
world
whole
map,
point of
did
it being around worlds is basically it's one single world, as it were. I'm not talking about this, but I'm talking about the main game.
No, that's fine.
So basically, if you're in a plane, you can still fly all the way across.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Rather than going fly across road level, suddenly you've lost all your, you know.
No, absolutely. One world is one world.
Yeah.
What I'm suggesting is that with each world that is made, be it steampunk, real, modern, medieval, dark age, there is always a second copy that is mystified as Purgatory for that world. That's what I'm suggesting, because then if you sit there and go, right, I've made this high-tech world, might be a bit different for high-tech, but we'll go with that.
High-tech, I'm thinking 3D printed planes type thing.
Yeah, that's fine. So you sit there and go, right, the story for that still starts in Purgatory. But
so maybe each world has a different perspective as to why you're pulling through.
I mean,
so in the medieval one, you're effectively
it's a necromancer.
As a necromancer, and
for high tech, perhaps it's science gone wrong, or science doing what
gives
science
you creatively the device to get from one world to another.
And that way, if you're doing a scientific experiment, let's say cloning,
wrote that down,
and it goes horribly wrong.
I read that.
Layered world. I'll know what it means.
layered world.
So let's just assume that you was going the science route, or whatever you want to call it, on your character, and you try to clone yourself.
Maybe that clone ends. Okay, sorry.
And then, let's say there's a critical failure and it explodes and it destroys both pods, or whatever you call it. You'd end up as some sort of mutant inside of, let's say, the scientific side of death room, or whatever you want to call it, and then you have to try and then in the purgatory area, whatever, I want to have some sort of Reaper.
Oh no, absolutely. There is always
it's not like obviously the Reaper can be killed. But the problem is if you kill a Reaper, it just reincarnates later because it's like immortal, as it were.
And that's where reputation comes in. It allows.
And also, you have to kill certain Reapers or whatever you call it to do certain
Let's
pranks.
let's continue with that.
Like a job, you know, like one of your jobs is finding lost souls on the surface.
So you have Purgatory. You have your main world. Obviously, you'll have your equivalent of heaven and hell.
Probably not.
Or a different realm that stores the actual dead rather than this place between. Another one you could always do, which would allow for the connectivity between the various servers, is essentially the equivalent of a dimensional room, where you have the varying worlds. You can't take the items. Say you went to the medieval world, you got yourself a sword and a shield, went up to this dimensional room, decided to go high tech. You wouldn't be able to take any of the items from that original world. Perhaps that's what the Guardians oversee, or the Guardians' avatars, allowing for religious bollocks that doesn't matter. But you go to this high tech world. You get yourself a really shiny gun, and so decide, I want to take that to the medieval world. No, won't let you. It allows. That's
basically, you go through a door, your body drops to the floor, and your soul continues through, as it were.
Yes. And then there's bodies you can pick up.
So it's almost like effectively like a time travel for your soul.
Or an era travel.
I can do it a couple of ways. Like, just take me out before you sort of jump down. Okay. Like, what we can do is sort of do it sort of like Sword Art Online or things like that.
I don't remember Sword Art Online.
It's an anime, yeah.
It's an anime. I know it's an anime based.
Basically, what I can do is I can have it as the normal world like this, but with all ages scattered throughout it. And let's say the people research, I don't know, force field technology. And the medieval towns say they want to have the force field technology to protect them. So what they do is they do it in a way that looks natural on the town, so the town is protected. But they still keep with the theme of medieval stuff.
I would honestly say no. Because you then get into that horrible thing of
Do you know what that reminds
balance.
me of? Do you know what that reminds me of? My first instance of that is that really awful film, was it Cowboys versus Aliens?
Yeah. Now,
and that's what you don't want. You don't want it to cross over with
the problem. Then how about you get the main big city or whatever, and then you want to take your gun to the medieval part of it, or whatever you want to call it.
No.
But they have some sort of technology that means you can't.
No, that I can write that. That is not a problem.
You know, like each town has their own. Like,
each world, you limit the play, the way you balance the game, because balance is a massive problem in MMOs. Is you basically say, you can go to every era, you can connect to them once you get to a certain point in the story, and go and explore all the other stories in the varying other worlds, and allow players to interact with each other from the varying other places in instance form. But in order to balance it, because you don't take a sword to a gunfight
unless you look at that sword.
No, but you don't take it.
It's a bad phrasing. But to balance the game, you need to keep the technology at its minimum for that era.
But
swords and shields for medieval. You could take that sword and shield over, but to be honest with you, it would then get really awkward to write if you you weren't allowed to take a gun back to the medieval era.
But what I was thinking is more like, let's just assume that Jude has a plasma cannon. Well, person B has a sword, but the line with the plasma cannon has only just brought that.
No, I think the problem is if you try to cross technology over the different worlds,
it's going to be one. What I'm thinking is one universal world, but then each town has a specific, like, anti-technology or whatever you want to call it, or anti-magic system in place, where you can bring it out, but you just can't use it. Or
I think what's interesting here.
And then when you go to a dimensional rift, you can then do the whole miniature world, like Sword Art Online, where level 1 is medieval, level 2 is a sci-fi.
We found the device, or we've talked about the device that gets us between one and the other. Can we come back, please, to what we're talking about. We're here to talk about the demo.
Okay, so I think from what I'm seeing of the demo, it's going to be a largish medieval town.
With some surrounding stuff.
With kind of foresty, kind of trees, but on the very outside edge, it's nothing but fog. If you walk through the fog, it effectively takes you to the other half of the map.
We have buildings,
Yep.
water wheels, bridges.
So this is just what I've got in mind. In the town, we'll have Richards write a plot of what's going to happen within that town. From that point, we can then work on NPCs and things like that.
Which I'll work with the group tomorrow to do.
Can just somebody explain to we over this side of what remind us of what NPC
non-playable characters. So
right.
So the best way I can describe it is you walk into...
we understand.
Yeah.
The bits that are written into the computer that aren't people.
Yes.
Fine.
Yeah.
Moving on. So, back to our demo. Are we saying as we did this evening, sitting here very quietly, that rather than simply producing a playable demo, we want to take to Indiegogo a working demo of an MMO?
Yes.
Daniel.
Basically it's the start of the game, or the first hour of the game.
Yeah, so the first town, if you like, the purgatory of the first town.
I love Purgatory.
And then obviously if we get this quarter of a minute, then we'd add on the content. No, I'm just saying.
Yes, no, and the way you will achieve your Indiegogo, whatever you set that at, and that is in part going to be determined by what is required. You don't just pick a figure of it's what we want to build. Can we please go back to 6 characters at £1,000 quid?
I don't even think we need that.
We said 1,000 quid for the.
I think if we can get away with we don't need it just now.
It's what I'm.
Yeah, we started with that. But we don't need it now. What we're saying is that the kind of godlike figures, we don't need to see them. They can be a whisper in the air, or
I thought that 1,000 was for the 4-pack characters.
That's for the 1,000
I used the wrong number. I'm sorry.
Right, so I said 4.
I said 6.
I think we commission an artist to draw the 6 or 7 or 5 that would be seeable, so we can tease it in story. Just have it that way, rather than having them as full models.
And right, so it's 1,000 quid for the players.
Yes.
Yeah.
We originate or conceptualise the Guardians and other artwork, thereby keeping down.
Yes.
And those could be by open invitation within the various gaming communities, contacts and our own good selves. Because art. There's a lot of talent out there on the tables on almost every convention in the country.
But, I mean, it might be that.
And you've already started this in your own right. Visualizations.
Let's assume that 1,000 is worst case scenario. I have to hire my programmer or coder, or whatever you call it, modeler. But it might be that if Sue or a friend or something knows modelling and does it well, and could do it for half the price, we might be able to also get the Guardians for the same price.
What we're doing with this is
what you now guys have to do is get me to a point where I say I am prepared to put my money on the table to make this. It's your money in the end if it works. But today, now, this comes from eBay boxes or copywriting or whatever else other interests it may be. I want to know how much it's going to cost in the real world and how long it's going to take.
I can't answer that.
We've got 1,000 quid, 500 quid for scripting. What else is there in theory that carries cost, Daniel?
Really just music, things like that.
Music could be done from anything
effects, things like that.
Music could be done from as cheap as chips. Like you could get free music or very cheap music, or even if we know somebody. I mean, the person I know, if I could either persuade him to get involved, I reckon he could either do it for free or very cheaply, or be able to point me in the direction, because that's effective. He used to work for Codemasters, and he was the one who's responsible. Yeah, he was responsible for music and sound effects in the game.
And interestingly, one of the things Kirsch was talking to Sir Bernard and the Baroness about was the BAM and the music for the films. There is cross-project.
Yeah.
There is cross-project here, and there is also, for the purposes of the demo, access to shareware, whatever it takes to get it through. Get the ideas across. 1,500 quid. What else?
Yeah.
Have you got all the objects you need for this world?
Arguably, I mean, I may need some models made for, let's say, the Reaper or someone in the.
So, shall we say £1,000 for extra costs, such as texture packs,
extra character models,
NPC modelling?
Yeah.
And how much? If we set, so we seem to have got to a figure of £2,500, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I can get character packs or whatever. Like
I think
£2.5
grand all in.
I mean, I have to say, I don't know what is technically involved with the actual creation of it. That's I can come up with the ideas and that kind of aspect of it, but when it comes to the physical creation of it, I would actually rely on you for that.
But Daniel, you know this. You know this inside out. You know this. You know this.
The modeler I used, they said to me it's going to be about 200 to 300 for a character model or a guardian model. So that's just my assumption there of about 1,000.
Well, the thing is, you could go to him and say, I'd like this,
Obviously, I could probably
and you can maybe try and get it. Yeah, so basically say,
I'll let the Islington Tosser do it.
Yeah.
You mean the value VFM?
Yeah.
Or scripting is generally.
Scripting is very specialist.
Yeah.
That I do agree with.
It costs a lot of money per hour, so generally, I'm just going on the 500 assumption on the case of all we're needing to do is get them to actually, I've got a teleport system. Well, actually, it's a port system. But yeah, basically, it's.
We don't need to worry about the portals and stuff like that.
No, just so we can probably get away with not using code for that.
The other thing we will need is what would they be called? A graphic designer to deal with the final 45 seconds of cutscene.
Wouldn't be a graphic designer. That
what would that be?
You mean like CGI?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's more like an animation.
I would need an animation.
My guy does animation, but
for that final 45 seconds of amazingness.
Yeah. So basically looking for a graphic animation. It's not graphic design. Graphic design is like.
But
that.
Daniel,
can you talk?
I know for things like characters and.
Talk to me. Tell me technically what you think the scripter needs to be doing, please.
All it really needs from me is to implement the customised character system into the actual game. I'm not sure how long it takes, how much it's going to cost. I'll have to get quotes from people, but I'm going on the assumption of 500.
Have you looked at this in some way before?
Yes.
And what were you seeing there?
There's a tutorial online on how to do it for the system I wanted, but that's just using the base Yuma system. So my assumption is it's just a case of the coder just needs to tweak a few things or change the UI.
Fix some of the bugs.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the Islington Tosser, as you so all attractively put it.
Well, you said it yourself in part one.
Mea culpa. Depending upon how tomorrow night goes, because there's
2.5.
2.5. How long?
Well.
3 months. I need a month to write.
Daniel?
Well, modeler generally takes a couple of weeks, so probably a month or 2.
Well, why don't we say a ballpark figure of 4 months?
Hold on. What's the date today? It's October.
Yeah.
3 months would be Christmas. You don't want to be launching at Christmas.
You launch
yes, you do.
No, you don't.
No, you want to launch it.
Not for an Indiegogo thing, because no one will have any money. You probably, I would say, maybe February.
You want me to launch it Valentine's Day?
Yeah, there is reasons for that. One, this is the most crude
Steam
thing.
sale.
Steam sales are all Christmas, and people spend all their money
at Christmas, and on January it's January
But-
sales, so
and-
nobody has any money till February.
the biggest internet audience is in between the week of Christmas and the New Year.
Yeah, but they have no money at that point, so they won't be able to put any money into it.
How long does the Indigo campaign?
30 days.
30 to 60 days. Yeah. The thing is, if we try to get it before Christmas...
What if you...
No, I don't think...
No,
I wouldn't be able to write it that quickly.
30... Can we think of a date in January? Valentine's Day I quite like.
See, there's like my instant thought for Valentine's Day is gamers tend to be kind of
mopey, lonely,
lonely, no,
and they've got money. And because it's not January.
Because it's as well as that, it's Valentine's Day and they've not got a date to take out.
Come on, we're all geeks. It's not like we have girlfriends
or boyfriends.
Or boyfriends. Sorry. Depends which way you swing.
Daniel, do you think with your college commitments, 14th of February, with effective project management is a flyer?
Give me 60 days from the 14th of February? 60 days. No, it's not, because 28 days.
Could it be the
February, 14th of February is actually a Saturday.
Perfect.
And you want, what, 60 days
I want 60 days from the 14th of February, please.
Okay. 7.
Am I doing...
We're nearly there. I want to bring us to a close shortly, because what I want to do is just have a little break. We want Daniel to have time to chuck the stuff onto the aliens that's needed, and we want to agree as a group how we want to present this to the wider group in the gamers for their ideas tomorrow.
15th of April.
15th of April.
47 days.
47 days for Kickstarter.
Well, Indiegogo.
Indiegogo. So what's 47 days from the 14th? That's a weird number.
No, it says the average is 47.
So
successful campaigns are going to have an average of deadline days of 47 days.
60 days is fine. So 14th, 15th.
It was the 15th of April.
15th of April is the end date.
Could we go into dates in history and see whether the 15th of April is significant?
How about
in some
instead
way?
of starting it like the end of January? So it's a bit earlier. Because it takes...
We don't want... What?
Would it? Daniel thinks that might be Easter. Things hatch, things are born at Easter.
The problem we have, we do not want it to end anywhere near April Fool's Day.
That's a good point.
We do not, absolutely not. I would die. I would go and slam my head into a wall.
Right, okay, then
I agree.
Fine.
That's why I'm saying Valentine's Day to Easter weekend.
And then you've got technically like a summer game.
And then what you have is a Christmas release.
What?
It allows for 6 months development of the actual full thing, because there's going to be a crap ton of work for you to do.
Actually, Richard, you're smiling. We can all see that in our creative mind.
No, I'm just thinking summer release in terms of...
Unless we do it summer 2016. Because and there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to write close to 1 million words.
Yeah.
Or the teams are.
Or the team, well, I'm going to have to...
The teams are.
Yeah, the teams are going to have to write 1 million words. Now, I was actually talking to Sophie about this a while ago. Your average dissertation is 80,000, and that's a book. That gives you an idea.
Yes, but he knows he's doing...
No, I know, I'm just saying.
You could do it in you could do the same...
My dissertation's only 10,000.
Yeah, well...
It gives you an idea.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to do.
Daniel, on the computer, when's Easter weekend 2015?
Easter weekend 2015.
It's just shares.
Right, so yeah, it's going to be...
It also gives us potential Easter eggs and Easter hunts. He said hunts.
Oh, Easter Monday is the 6th of April.
Is the 6th. Easter Monday is the 6th of April.
6th is fine.
Yep.
Actually, no, it's not, because it's too close to April Fools.
That's only if we do 60 days or whatever. We do the 47 and we end up...
No, that's 10 days after.
10 days after is fine. It allows...
15th of April. So we're saying 15th of April.
Is the end date.
But of course, if we
We don't
launch
have to
14,
cut it.
No.
but we're right. So what we're right. So let's wind the yaya up.
I mean, the only other fundraising thing that I can think of is the GoFundMe thing, which basically is raise as much as you want in whatever time frame you want.
Yeah.
I like Indiegogo.
Yeah, Indiegogo's more trusted, really.
And also it fits, remember, Daniel, with some of the other projects where it fits with the indie film development work.
It's with Indiegogo. The good thing is, because the type of funding we're going to be doing for is the one where you get it no matter what.
Precisely.
Correct.
What you want to
Indiegogo. And even if we don't reach the target, we still get money.
Let's assume in the first week we magically get 100,000. We have 100,000 to spend on that week.
Yeah, and you know how
it's just at the end of the campaign they give back 5% to make it.
You know how Kickstarter, if you earn over your budget, they take it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Do they?
They do.
Oh wow.
They take a massive cut from it.
If we ask for 250,000 and only get 100,000, we just pay 9%. If we get our 250,000,
they take 9% straight away.
Yes, right. They take 9%. But if we score our 250,000,
they give us some back.
They give us 5.
Yeah.
Right.
It's money. It's not a problem.
Okay.
So
let's.
In case of,
Right.
let's assume best case scenario we get, let's say 100,000 in a week, because the
let's move on.
Advertisement of this break.
We
can then use that 100,000 to start work earlier than when the end of the campaign was done.
Oh, absolutely.
And the idea being
halfway through the campaign.
The idea being Christmas 2015 release.
Yes.
Do you really think we can make an entire game?
I think we can make a sufficient level, providing we provide episode 1 with a budget.
For what it does allow.
So do we do it in the Walking Dead line where they said episode every?
No. What I suggest, I suggest we do it.
Actually, wait.
How I suggest we do it.
I can show you the.
Is you get the main part of the game out, the crux of it for 2015. Then it allows for free expansion, free patching. And
so in other words, we continue to evolve it and we just
evolve it as you go along.
So long as we clearly define what is to be expected by 2015, if the target is achieved, or a proportion of it, which is why this layering is so clever, because we can say 50,000 by 3 layers, 150,000 by 6. I know I've used the word layers and you use the word like necrophilia. But that gives us.
I don't think anyone said necrophilia.
That gives
dead people.
That gives us quantum. Right.
Yes. No.
So tomorrow night then.
Yeah.
We're all going to meet again, and we're going to put to the room that on February the 14th, and we will be telling Philip this, subject to me saying yes, because of course there is a little bit more on cost to it than simply $2,500. There's a great deal of wommpomm time. There's your time too. There's considerable investment from all involved.
It might be if the trailer ingredient goes well, and you get this high amount of money straight away, then it might be I can basically pay your fees or whatever you want to call it straight away. I think we will need to sit down as a team and seriously look at how this gets divvied up on what basis and so on and so forth. But at the moment, we're not.
I'm not focusing.
It's a pointless. It's a pointless discussion. We're demonstrating our commitment by being here. Let's move on. The divvy will be what the divvy is. The divvy will be clearly established. Let's see where we get. Tomorrow evening, therefore, we are going to tell the room that we are planning an Indiegogo launch on Valentine's Day 2014.
Yep.
Of 25th Valentine's Day next year.
Maybe doing like a midnight thing, so when 13 goes to 14.
Yes, I like that.
Absolutely. Midnight release.
That's good brain fuck terror. That's when they're most miserable. Yeah, brilliant.
No, they're at the most miserable midday On Valentine's Day.
After the postman's been in the
But I'm sure after playing the demo they will not be. Smile and wave at the camera.
Well, we launch it the day before Valentine's Day. That way they've got a day to see the trailer and get people there.
People won't be around on the Friday. They'll be working.
Yeah, but if we launch the trailer and everything... Oh,
it doesn't matter.
No.
The 14th is a Saturday. It is a perfect day. Purely because all the nerds won't have a social life.
And there will be
no offence, guys!
And there's also allusions to Valentine's Day massacres. There's a great deal that can be done creatively.
When's Black Friday again for America? Can't remember.
No, that's Thanksgiving.
That was it.
Yeah.
I can remember if it was Valentine's Day.
Okay, so we're now tomorrow evening we fundamentally have agreed those ideas. Though we've done a pretty good job of being of accord this evening. What do we want to do tomorrow evening?
What I want to sit down and do is I'll write up something on that lot.
We're going to leave this lot with you on the premise that you promised to put to put it in an elastic band and give it back to us when we finish.
Yes.
Do we suggest that we explain what we're doing and then let you all go into role-play characters and play the game tomorrow evening? How do we best now decide what we want to do inside our demo MMO?
We have 3 other gamers who are going to be around. Who have played not as much as I have, but more than Sue has.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
well, that allows between 20 and 140 hours. It's quite.
She doesn't play as long, but she's played for longer.
Yeah, you are
the older of the group.
She didn't need that reminder.
I don't really need to be reminded I'm the oldest member of the group. Thank you very
You've had
much.
an extra 10 years.
No, she's not. No.
I am almost 10 years older than him.
Not to me. You're still young to me.
I think it's fair to say.
Is it like Phil, whatever, like 18 or something?
What I think we do is we tell these gamers what we're doing.
Show them the trailer.
Don't even show them the trailer. Tell them what we're doing. They've got an imagination of their own, and then let them run with it. And see what they themselves see from their perspective of what they think it would entail.
Or what they would like it to.
Are they going
to play it on the computers, or...?
I don't think it's actually necessary.
Right.
I want to play it purely because I need to develop something for you.
Yeah, and you've also got the flycam mode, so you can do better. So if you need better stuff for the trailer, you can just fly around and make better stuff for the trailer.
Precisely, which is all I need. I think we allow the gamers, with their imaginations, to develop not the crux, because we've now got that as a demo.
Not to be spoken of outside of this
room.
Ambit.
And camera.
But to allow them to talk about what they've seen in other stuff and to take not from it but develop something that they have not seen before.
Does that make sense to you, Sue?
Hey, have we added onto the list of initial money for the extra $500 or whatever for the design stuff?
The design program for the costumes that might be added. I think it was $550 for.
It's dollars. It's cheaper.
Yeah, it's like £300. So
we know it's 1.63.
Those poor Americans with their terrible currency.
It's not something that's immediately necessary, but would be nice.
It would be nice. I mean, to be fair, we could probably do without. We could for the initial demo, we could probably get away with it. But I think for the actual creation of the game,
we want it to look spangly.
Yeah.
You must also appreciate that we will be there are other areas of potential funding we're looking at beyond Indiegogo. I think we'll say no more about that this evening. I was just trying to get some sense of quantum for us.
We'll sit down with them tomorrow and talk about what we plan to do, see their reactions, because that will give us all we need, and then see where they would think it would go, and we can take from that.
Yeah.
Okay. And cut. Let's say goodnight to the world.
Yeah.
Bye, part 3.
See you Valentine's Day. We love you even if no one else doesn't. Is there a Valentine's Day song?
No.
Oh,